Fort Smith leaders voting to end a contract with the city auditor 2 days after making the hire. We'll have those details ahead.
And that dense fog advisory continues until 8 a.m. this morning. There is some low visibility as you head out the door this morning. Use a little bit of caution. We'll talk about the weekend forecast coming up.
And so we're seeing like, hey, this is working.
Plus, an Arkansas organization is aiming to provide more resources to local children and teens in the foster care system. We'll have more on their plans.
But first, the live lookout in Bentonville. Good morning to you there at 6:30. 5 News This Morning starts now.
Covering news where you live. This is 5 News This Morning.
Well, hey, happy Friday. Thanks so much for joining us here on 5 News This Morning. We made it all the way to April 25th, the Friday, that weekend, just right around the corner.
Where'd the year go?
April 25th. Oh my goodness.
Wow, it's going to be Christmas tomorrow when you wake up.
Yeah, it really will. We better get to shopping.
Yep.
At least it's Friday. It's a gloomy start to our Friday.
Is.
Foggy out there to start off the morning, but overall, not too much to worry about today. Here's a look at radar. We've been talking about maybe the chances of a few spotty showers here and there, but overall, looking pretty good this morning. I think there's a few chances that we could see very spotty showers every once in a while with that extra fog out there this morning. Maybe a few areas of some patchy drizzle will be possible, but overall, that's the bigger story for us this morning, is that low visibility for certain areas. Bentonville, Fayetteville, not looking too bad right now. But you take a look in Springdale, Poteau, Ozark, Fort Smith. That dense fog is thick out there this morning. That advisory continues until 8 a.m. So let's take a look at where it's worse at right now. Mainly all along I-40 is where you'd find some really dense fog out there, especially closer towards the state line you work. That's where you find that lowest visibility. Same story across northwest Arkansas, western parts of the counties. That's where you could find some of that dense fog across parts of I-49. Not too bad out there, though, this morning. Most of this is going to burn off by the time we get closer towards 9 a.m. Northwest Arkansas, the rest of the day today looks like this. Hopefully by the time we get to this afternoon, seeing a little bit more in the way of some sunshine. Daytime highs still into those upper 70s across the river valley, burning off that fog this morning. Cloud coverage breaks out. We start to see a little bit of sunshine this afternoon. Daytime highs still into those low 80s. Very low chance we have a few of those spotty showers, mainly during the morning hours. Let's take a look at traffic out there this morning. Here is a live look out across the Oklahoma state line this morning. Good morning to you there. That fog is thick out there this morning. Give yourself a little bit extra time.
Well, we start with a developing story out of Fort Smith this morning.
Yeah, just 2 days after making the hire, the board of directors has voted to terminate a contract with the city auditor. On Tuesday, the board appointed Rebecca Cowan to the post, responsible for ensuring efficiency and accountability across all city departments. She was set to start next month with an annual salary sitting at $110,000 a year. But it's been discovered that Cowan was booked into the Sebastian County Jail last year on an out-of-state warrant. It all stems from a felony stalking charge in LaFleur County. The exact details in that case have not been released yet. However, Cowan is set to appear in court on May 21st. Well, also in Fort Smith, the Arkansas Department of Health is issuing a warning after a person from out of state who was infected with the measles was in the city. The ADH listed Mercy Hospital and Best Friends Pet Clinic as the exposure sites. They say the infected person made stops at both Fort Smith locations in the past week. They're urging anyone who may have been exposed to get up to date on their MMR vaccine and to monitor symptoms, which can take 3 weeks to develop. Now, the health department says that the patient was at Mercy Hospital Saturday, April 19, from 11 to 6, and then at the pet clinic Monday night from 5 to 8. Arkansas Department of Health did not provide any details about the patient or what state they were traveling from, but the current number of confirmed cases in Arkansas is 3.
It's very concerning. This is the community. It's the community. It's the kids. Everybody needs to be as safe as possible.
Meanwhile, some community members in Texas say they're concerned about measles outbreaks across the state. The Associated Press reporting 2 unvaccinated kids in West Texas died from measles-related illnesses earlier this year, and an adult in New Mexico died in March. Thursday, Tennessee health officials confirmed a measles outbreak, bringing the number of U.S. states with outbreaks to 10. Well, the Arkansas Supreme Court justices are now considering Amber Waterman's fate. Now, she's already been convicted in federal court for the murder of a pregnant woman from Benton County.
Now they're deciding if she can also face trial for the same crime in Arkansas. They heard arguments Thursday on if pursuing charges in Arkansas would violate the Constitution's double jeopardy clause. Waterman is serving life in federal prison for kidnapping and killing Ashley Bush in 2022. Now that the federal case is over, Benton County prosecutors want to try Waterman in state court with the death penalty on the table. The justices did not issue a ruling Thursday, and they'll take it under advisement as they prepare a written opinion. Well, Northwest Arkansas, 750 children and teens are part of the foster care system. Immerse Arkansas, a social services organization based in Little Rock, says that our area is considerably under-resourced compared to the need and unveiled a plan to address the issue. Immerse was founded in Little Rock in 2010, opened a location in Conway in 2023, and is now setting its focus on Northwest Arkansas. It plans to begin a three-phase process that will begin in 2026. The first phase is a preventative program for teens 14 to 18 focused on mentorship, employment, education, and trauma therapy. The second phase is a transitional program for young adults to secure housing. Last, we'll be building a shelter designed for young adults in Northwest Arkansas called The Station.
With our station, the last quarter we had 14 out of 15 youth exit our station, and 14 of them left with safe and stable housing and employment and education. And so we're seeing like, hey, this is working, and we want to make sure not only in Little Rock, not only in Central Arkansas, but in Northwest Arkansas that our youth have the access to the opportunities that are in Central Arkansas as well.
That shelter will be built and ready to accept young adults transitioning out of the foster care system in 2028.
Well, this morning, the federal deadline quickly approaching to get a real ID. TSA and XNA held a briefing this week as people who want to board an airplane for a domestic flight will need a real ID compliant license by May 7th. If this is not compliant, they'll need another form of approved identification. That can be like a passport to board any flights or enter a secure federal facility or even a military base.
Our message is, don't panic. There's lots of other ways to present a real ID. You can also go to all our social media platforms with TSA and Ask TSA, where you can ask a question of a uniformed officer and get a response within the hour and generally in 3 minutes or less.
Well, the Real ID driver's license and identification card has a small star in the upper right corner. This is to indicate the license meets federal regulations that establish minimum security standards.
Well, in the race to strike a peace deal between Russia and Ukraine, a key White House negotiator is set to meet with Russia's president today.
It comes as the two countries appear to be deadlocked on a key issue. Jared Hill has the latest.
The boom of Russian missiles killing at least 9 in the Ukrainian capital Thursday drew a rare direct rebuke from President Donald Trump, singling out Russian President Vladimir Putin, posting on social media, "Vladimir, stop."
We're in the midst of talking peace and missiles were fired, and I was not happy with it.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky rushed home from a trip in South Africa. He'd also been in London to meet with leaders about the war. Meetings U.S. officials skipped. Today, Trump's Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff is set to meet with Putin in Russia about a U.S. brokered peace deal. It reportedly includes excluding Ukraine from NATO membership, freezing the fighting close to the current front line, and recognizing Crimea as part of Russia. Moscow seized Crimea by force back in 2014. As far as concessions Russia has offered.
Stopping the war, stopping taking the whole country, pretty big concession.
Peace talks continue as the White House says trade talks with China move along. But Beijing says that's not the case. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Well, today's the final day for the public to pay their respects to Pope Francis before his funeral tomorrow morning at the Vatican. This is a live look at St. Peter's Basilica, where tens of thousands have come to pay their respects so far this week. With much of tomorrow's funeral ceremony taking place outside, a huge security operation is unfolding. Snipers on rooftops, drone detecting technology, and around 8,000 security forces are patrolling the streets. Meanwhile, 135 cardinals are eligible right now to vote in next month's conclave to choose Pope Francis's successor.
Certainly want somebody with his gracious, humble, simple, loving style.
Well, the date of the conclave is expected to be announced after the funeral. You can watch it, the Pope Francis funeral, tomorrow. It'll be in a CBS News special report right here on Channel 5. Coverage will begin at 3 a.m. our time, then on CBS and streaming and CBS News 24/7. You can watch it on Paramount Plus as well.
Well, recall alert this morning. Huffy has recalled more than 40,000 children's ride-on toys due to a fire hazard. According to the Consumer Product Safety Commission, the Huffy ride on Torex UTV has led to at least 20 incidents of smoking or catching fire, with 5 people suffering minor burns. Huffy's 12-volt children's ride on Tonka dump truck has 3 reports of overheating and 1 report of a fire, though no injuries so far. Owners of the recalled product should contact Huffy for a free repair. And New England Village Food is recalling 5 and 10-ounce containers of its 19th hole snack mix. It's all due to undeclared almonds. The FDA warns that the products could cause a life-threatening reaction to people with nut allergies. Production of the snack mix has stopped temporarily. Consumers should return the products for a full refund.